If you feel that it's becoming harder to find truly good content on YouTube, that's not just an impression. It is the result of a system that increasingly rewards quantity over value, prioritizing volume, speed, and repetition instead of meaning, originality, or depth. We are living in a curious moment on the internet. It has never been easier to produce content, yet it has never been harder to find something truly worth watching. The abundance of material does not translate into quality or relevance. In recent months, a term has gained traction: slop content. It refers to mass-produced, repetitive, shallow material created not to communicate ideas, but to occupy space, capture clicks, and feed algorithms. This discussion is no longer theoretical. Recently, YouTube began punishing channels built around this model by removing videos, demonetizing content, and reducing the reach of material deemed misleading, repetitive, or low value. That shift sent a clear signal. Something structural is happening in the digital creation ecosystem, and platforms are starting to react to industrialized content strategies that exploit metrics rather than serve audiences. Slop content does not emerge by accident. It is the predictable outcome of three forces converging: near-zero production cost, algorithm-driven distribution, and volume-based monetization. This is not merely bad content. It is the transformation of content into a commodity, mass-produced to statistically capture attention, not to convey meaning or insight. The most immediate cause is economic. Generative models drastically lowered the barrier to producing text, images, voice, and video. What once required teams can now be done by one person or fully automated systems. When the marginal cost of producing one more video approaches zero, incentives shift. The question stops being which video to make and becomes how many videos can be uploaded until one performs. Slop becomes a rational strategy. Many cheap attempts are made to land a single hit that pays for the rest. Production becomes driven by statistics rather than intention or authorship. The second force is platform logic. Algorithms reward fast, measurable signals like clicks, retention, watch time, and recurrence, shaping how content is designed and distributed. This environment favors eye-catching titles, aggressive thumbnails, and easily replicable formats. These elements become competitive advantages, regardless of informational value. Slop thrives because it is optimized for these signals. It relies on exaggerated promises, generic narratives, repeated structures, and evergreen topics that can be endlessly recycled. Content stops being a work and becomes a funnel product, designed to win the initial click and keep users cycling through recommendations with minimal cognitive effort. If this analysis resonates and you want to understand what is changing behind platforms, following the channel makes sense. The goal here is to explain phenomena, not merely react to trends. Outside the digital world, similar patterns exist. Specialty coffee once emphasized origin and craft. When it became standardized and cheap, consumption grew, but perceived quality declined. The same happened with photography. When photos required film, cost, and technique, each image carried weight. Digital tools enabled mass production, trivializing everyday images. Photography did not disappear, but truly, great images now compete with an ocean of disposable records. The signal still exists, but noise dominates the landscape. Digital content follows the same pattern. Ease of production does not eliminate quality, but it dramatically lowers the average value of what circulates online. With AI, this process reaches industrial scale. Content is produced in batches, with channels operating like factories that automatically generate, edit, and publish material. This differs from using AI as creative support. In slop production, the goal is repetition and volume, not clarity, insight, or originality. As tools improve, slop gains professional polish. Editing looks clean, voices sound smooth, visuals are refined, yet informational value remains low or non-existent. There is also a saturation effect. Human attention is limited, but content supply has exploded, increasing pressure for extreme hooks and exaggerated promises. This logic erodes trust. Audiences encounter repetition and shallow information. Platforms tighten rules, slop producers evade filters, and skepticism grows. This explains YouTube's recent actions. Channels were punished not for using AI, but for abusing systems through misleading titles and mass production without responsibility. At its core, Slop exists because platforms measure clicks and retention easily, but struggle to measure depth, rigor, and originality. Using AI is not the problem. AI is not Slop. The difference lies in editorial intent and human control over ideas, structure, and purpose. The excess of Slop reflects misaligned incentives, not cultural decline. As platforms react, authorship and intentional creation become valuable again. In the end, the question is not whether you use AI, but what you use AI for.